Hi, welcome to the Dot and Concept YouTube channel. I am Rahul, your today's host. In this video, you will learn about components in Angular. If you'll see a component, it is the basic block of Angular application. So, first of all, let's see what is a component. So, component is the main building block of Angular framework, and it consists of HTML template, styles, and the code behind. So you can also understand it as a class decorated by component decorator. In short, whatever you see on your page is a component, such that UI, your CSS, the functionality, everything. So mainly you deal with the component in your Angular application. So whatever you see is a component. It consists of views and CSS and all things. So let's say how to create a component. There are many ways to create a component. So that you can use Visual Studio, just right click on source folder and create a folder for component, inside which you can add multiple files like component.html, then CSS, then a spec, and then component.ts file. You can also use Angular CLI to create the component. In that case, you can use a Visual Studio terminal, or you can use a command prompt. So in this video, we will see how to create a component using various methods. Okay, so now let's move to Visual Studio and see how we can create a component. Here you can see app, and the default component has been already created. We have app folder, inside which we have files like HTML, then CSS, spec file, and the component. So let's create a new component. So you can use command ng generate component and then name of the component. Here I am writing component name as login. So this command will basically generate a component with login. It will create a folder inside app folder, and it will create all the 4 files. So here I can see that a component has been created inside source folder, inside which we have app and login. So inside login folder there is a component, and you can see various files. So here we have created, here we have taken SAS, so that's why you can see a CSS file. So in Visual Studio also you can see here login folder, and inside this we have all the 4 files. Here is the component file. This is the CSS. So this is the test file with some default tests, and here is the component, which has imported component from Angular code. Then we have component decorator, we have login component class. Here you can see template that directs to point to login component.html. Then you have style URL that point to login.component.scss file. You can also see the selector name as app login. So this name can be used to call the component. Below you can see export class login component. So this is the class name which we will use in further use. It implements onInit, and here we have the method ng-onInit. That is mainly a component cycle. So you can also see a reference added in app.module. So you have to add a reference in app.module, and also the declaration inside ng module decorator. So whenever you create a component with command prompt, or with the help of terminal, so it already adds the references. So now let's create one more component. So here you can see that I am using command ng g c and register, where G stands for generate and C is the short name of component. If the component name is register, it will also create all the 4 files and update app module. So here you can see all the 4 files are there, and below this you can see update, which has updated app module file. So in Visual Studio also you can see all the 4 files, and in app module you can see register component and a reference of that. So it's very simple to create a component in Angular. Now let's create one more component with ng g c and users. Let's say users. Okay. So same has been created, and you can see the folder users also. Here is the folder and with all the files, and there are the files, and in app module you can see the reference. So in app module here is a reference of user component. Okay. One thing say that by default you can see 4 files are created. One is for HTML, one is for spec, one is for component.ts, and one is for SAS file. Now if I want that style file is not required, so for that I've used is. So you can write ngc test and then -is. In that case you will see that HTML, spec and ts file has been created but no SAS file. Good. So if you'll see in Visual Studio, so here is the test file, and you can see component, spec and ts but no SAS. So like this you can create your component and you can customize, whatever you want to create. Now let's see one more. Let's create one more component, and here I am writing spec is equal to false. So it will restrict of creating a spec file as well. Let me write test1, then yes. Now you can see that component has been created and all the files except spec. So here it is giving some warning that spec is depreciated, so I should write spec false. Instead of this I should write skip test. So I'm writing here skip tests. So it do the same thing. Spec is depreciated in newer version of Angular, because we are using Angular 8 here, so that's why we can use skip test. So now you know that component has been created. So here are the 3 files. Okay, and here you can see all the references as well. Now let's create one more component where restricting both. I don't want test and I don't want style file as well. So you can write -s and -- skip test. It will skip all the two files and it will only create component.html plus component.ts file. So same you can see in Visual Studio as well. Okay, so here are the references and we have imported all the files. These files are auto imported because we are using Angular CLI. Now let's say you want to disable spec in all the application. You don't want to write test files. So in angular.js JSON file, you can globally specify spec is equal to false. So it will not generate a spec file in any component which is created further. So now if you create a component, let's say test 4, so it will not generate a spec file. So here you go. And here you can see in Visual Studio as well. Okay. So now let's remove this. I'm just undoing what I did. And now let's build it and try to see, try to run this in browser. So in the serve and -o, you know that this will build your application and it will open this in browser. It's taking some time. Oh, it is throwing an error. Schema validation failed with the following error. Data path AOT should be Boolean. Okay, I think we should do some changes in JSON file. Okay, here it is, and let's find more. Okay, so let me correct all this. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I think I am done now. Now rerun the command. It will take some time to build the application for the first time. From second time, because we are using AOT, so it should not take so much time. So we will discuss AOT in further videos. So let's wait for some time. Okay, now you can see that application is loaded in localhost and 4200 port. This is Angular 8, so you can see the new template. Okay, now let's remove all this. Let's delete it. Delete it. this as well. My mouse is not working properly. I'm going to delete it. Delete test 1, test 2. I think there is some problem in my keyboard. Delete it. Okay, now delete the references. You need to delete references manually. So let's delete the references. Okay, delete from declaration as well. And okay, now here is my login component, and I am going to use this login component in my app component. So I'm just copying selector app login, and then I will open my app component.html. Here it is. I will delete all these things. Okay, now on this right here graph, this is app component. Okay, and inside this I will call my login component. So this will use as a selector, so app login and app login. It is very easy to use component inside another component, so you just only need to use it as a component, selectors, sorry. So here you can see login works. In Angular, automatically it watch and it will compile your code whenever you do some changes. You need not to do additional changes again and again. You need not to build your application again and again. It will automatically compile and build your application, and it will load the browser as well. So here I am writing we are in login component, and it's again compiled successfully, and you can see the changes here. I have not reloaded my browser, and the changes reflected automatically. Okay, okay, so now just write nggc and test folder hyphen test, let's say, okay, build it. So now what it will do, this command will create a test folder, and inside this it will create a test component. So this is very useful in the cases where you want to just configure your application. If you want to structure your application, you can use this way. So what it will do, it will create a test folder, and inside this it will create another folder with test and test component. So here you can see test folder, and inside this you have a test component, test folder. Yes, the folder with the name test, and which carry all the files. So basically we created a test component inside test folder. So let me create one more component, then it will be clear. Okay, so just write it test1. Okay, now it will create a component with the name test1 inside my test folder. So here you can see all the files and test, and here is the test1. So you can structure your components in this way as well. So you can create a folder, and inside this you can create all your components as per requirement. Okay, you can also create component using Visual Studio by right clicking it. You just created one folder, then now right click on this, now new file, and test3.component.html. Okay, so we will create all the files manually. Now new file, let's say test3.component.ts. okay, so HTML, then we have ts. Because this is a manually created component, so you will not see any predefined template. So just copy it, and I am just pasting it here. Okay, so let me change the names. Test3, then let me create a style file as well. New file, that is test3.component.scss. It will create a style file for me. So now let me rename it with test3 here. Okay, anything else is missed? Okay, here it is missing. Okay, now just rename it here as well. Now we have created a component, but remember that we need to just put a reference here as well, because till now we created component through Angular CLI, so it was automatically doing all this stuff for us. But now because we are creating a component manually, so we need to put these things manually. So I've just imported it, and I will put this in declaration part as well. So basically we put all the things in declaration, like component, then we have directives, then we have pipes. In future videos you will learn all these things, like how we create directives, then how we create pipes and all things. Hi, thank you for watching our video. Hope you like this. If you like it, so please like and share the video on your social network. And if you have not subscribed our channel, so please subscribe the channel as well. You will get more videos in coming days. You can also connect with us using a .NET Concept site. There you can find many articles and videos. And you can also connect with us on Facebook page and on Twitter handle. Thank you.